In this video, we'll be taking a look at two WNBA games happening on May 14, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these two WNBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Minnesota Lynx versus Dallas Wings. There's something about this matchup that the market might be sleeping on, and it starts with the fact that the Dallas Wings are a completely different animal than the team that went 10-34 last season. You can't just look at last year's win total and pencil this in as a blowout, because the roster overhaul in Arlington has been nothing short of aggressive. Jose Fernandez took over the coaching reins after Chris Coklanes was let go at the end of the 2025 campaign, and he's brought a philosophy that prioritizes pace, spacing, and creative guard play. That matters tonight more than people realize. Minnesota is rolling into College Park Center with a 1-1 record, and sure, they just came off a gritty 88-84 road win over the Phoenix Mercury on Tuesday. But here's the thing, that Lynx team you're looking at right now is not the same squad that posted a league-best 34-10 record last season. Napheesa Collier, their franchise cornerstone and a 5-time All-Star who averaged 22.9 points a game in 2025, is sidelined until at least June after undergoing surgery on both ankles. Her left ankle procedure happened on March 24th, and she hasn't returned to on-court activities. That's not a minor absence. That's removing the heart and soul of this team's identity on both ends of the floor. And it's not just Collier. Dorka Juhas is also unavailable to start the season. The Lynx lost 4 of their top 7 rotation players from last year's postseason run, including Alana Smith, who was the 2025 Co-Defensive Player of the Year, Jessica Shepard, Bridget Carlton, and Natisha Heidemann. Now here's where it gets interesting for Dallas. Both Alana Smith and Jessica Shepard didn't just leave Minnesota, they're now wearing Wings jerseys. They know Cheryl Reeves' system inside and out. They know the tendencies, the sets, the defensive rotations. That kind of insider knowledge is invaluable this early in the season when both teams are still finding their legs. Shepard already showed what she can bring in Dallas's season opener against Indiana, putting up 13 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds. That's a near triple-double in her very first game with the Wings. Arike Ogunbowale has been rock solid through the first 2 contests, dropping 22 points in the win over Indiana and 20 against Atlanta. She re-signed on a 2-year deal this offseason because she believes in what this team is building, and she's backing that up with production right out of the gate. Paige Bueckers, last year's Rookie of the Year, scored 20 against the Fever and 15 against the Dream, and Fernandez mentioned publicly that he talked to her about being even more aggressive going forward in isolation and transition. That's a scary thought for opposing defenses. Odyssey Sims dropped 20 in the opener too, giving the Wings 3 players who scored 20 or more in a single game. The Lynx are leaning heavily on their rookie point guard Olivia Miles, who honestly has been spectacular to start her career with 34 points and 15 assists through 2 games. But there's a real concern about asking a rookie to carry that kind of load night after night, especially on the road against a hostile College Park Center crowd that sold out the home opener on Tuesday. Minnesota's veteran backcourt of Kayla McBride and Courtney Williams provides stability, but the supporting cast around them is almost entirely new. Natasha Howard and Nia Coffey were brought in through free agency and have only been playing together for a few weeks. Emma Chekova, a rookie center from the Czech Republic, is being asked to fill minutes that used to belong to established players. Dallas, meanwhile, already has chemistry brewing between their returning core and new additions. Awak Kyer had the team's best plus-minus rating off the bench against Atlanta, suggesting the rotation has depth even when the starters aren't clicking. The Wings played competitive basketball against a very good Atlanta Dream squad even without their #1 overall pick Azzi Fudd, who was held out with a right knee issue. Fudd is listed as questionable tonight after participating in the team walkthrough and shooting drills on Wednesday, meaning she could provide an additional boost if she's cleared for action. Even if she doesn't go, this team showed in the Atlanta game that they can hang with talented opposition. Minnesota is navigating a transition year whether they want to admit it or not. Only 5 players remain from last year's postseason roster. Cheryl Reeve is the best coach in the WNBA. Nobody disputes that, but even she can't conjure chemistry overnight with this many new faces and her best player in street clothes. As our first pick for this matchup, the Dallas Wings to cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Dallas's season opener against the Indiana Fever gave us the first game in WNBA history where both teams scored over 100 points, finishing 107 to 104. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't your grandmother's low possession, grinded-out Wings team. Jose Fernandez wants to push the tempo, and his backcourt has the horses to do it. In that opener, the Wings posted an offensive efficiency of 1.154, an effective field goal percentage of 68.2%, and connected on an absurd 52.2% of their threes. Those numbers won't sustain themselves at that level all season, obviously, but the shot quality and spacing tell you this offense has real structure behind the fireworks. Now, the dream game was different. Dallas shot 15.4% from deep, going 4 for 26 from 3, and still put up 72 points. That's actually encouraging for tonight's purposes because it shows the floor of this offense isn't catastrophic even on a brutal shooting night. On Minnesota's side, their 2 games have produced combined scores of 181 and 172. The Lynx put up 90 in a 1-point loss to Atlanta and 88 in their road win at Phoenix. They shot 50% from the field against the Mercury and had 6 players finish in double figures. Olivia Miles is pushing the pace as a rookie point guard who wants to get out and run, and McBride and Williams are perimeter shooters who can fill it up in a hurry when the ball finds them in rhythm. Minnesota plays fast because they have to. Without Collier anchoring the half-court offense, the Lynx need to generate points in transition and through ball movement rather than letting their star go to work in isolation. That creates more possessions, more shot attempts, and more opportunities for both teams to put the ball in the basket. Here's a nugget that should catch your attention. The over has cashed in 7 of the last 10 head-to-head meetings between these two teams. That's not a fluke, it's a pattern rooted in how these franchises match up stylistically. Dallas has always been a team that generates offense through guard play, and now with Buekers, Ogunbowale, and Sims all capable of creating their own shots, the scoring potential on any given night is enormous. The Wings also have former Lynx players in Shepard and Smith who will be extra motivated to show out against their old squad. That kind of emotional edge tends to produce aggressive, attack-minded basketball rather than cautious play. College Park Center is going to be rocking tonight. This is a nationally televised Prime Video game. The energy in the building will be electric, and both teams have young players who feed off that kind of atmosphere. When the crowd is into it, you get faster decisions, quicker triggers from three-point range, and more aggressive drives to the rim. All of that pushes scoring upward. The defensive concerns on both sides of this matchup only reinforce the case. Dallas allowed 104 to Indiana in their opener, and Minnesota's defense is still figuring itself out without Collier's rim protection and Alana Smith's defensive versatility. Neither team has the personnel right now to consistently get stops for extended stretches, which means this game has the ingredients to turn into a track meet. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. New York Liberty versus Portland Fire. You know what makes this matchup so fascinating? The Portland Fire just stunned the world 2 nights ago, pulling off a buzzer-beating upset over the reigning WNBA champions. And now these two teams are right back at it on the same floor, same building, same energy. Let that sink in for a second. The New York Liberty walked into the Mata Center on Tuesday as the defending 2024 WNBA champions, riding a 2-0 start to their historic 30th anniversary season, and they left Portland with their first loss of the year after a putback at the buzzer from Sarah Ashley Barker gave the expansion Fire a 98-96 win. And I know what some of you are thinking. If Portland already beat them, why would we be looking at New York to bounce back and cover in this one? Let me walk you through it. Because when you look past the final score and the confetti from that magical Portland moment, the Liberty were the better team for roughly 35 of the 40 minutes in that game. New York led 54-47 at halftime. They led 77-70 going into the fourth quarter. They shot 50% from the field in the first half and 50% from 3, and all 5 of their starters scored in double figures. That is a dominant performance by any standard, and they still had control of the game deep into the fourth. The way that game ended was a coin flip, a broken play, a 3-point heave from Bridget Carlton that clanked hard off the backboard without touching the rim, and Barker happened to be crashing the glass at just the right moment to tip it in before the horn. That kind of finish doesn't repeat. It was beautiful, it was historic for Portland's franchise in their second ever game, but it was also the definition of an unsustainable outcome. Now think about who the Liberty had on the floor doing all of that damage. Breanna Stewart posted 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks, reaching a career milestone as the first player in WNBA history to accumulate 6,000 points and 2,500 rebounds in fewer than 300 games. Jonquel Jones chipped in 17 points and 7 boards while recording her 1,500th career field goal. Maureen Johannes, who has been filling in at the guard spot, added 18 points, including a clutch 3 to tie the game at 94 late in the fourth. Rookie Pauline Astier continued her absurd early career run with 24 points on 71% shooting, which is the highest single-game scoring output by any 2026 rookie so far this season. But Nigel Laney Hamilton rounded things out with 10 of her own. And here's the kicker. Sabrina Ionescu didn't play. She hasn't suited up yet this season because of a left foot injury she suffered in the preseason finale, and head coach Chris DeMarco confirmed she's out through at least May 17th. Satu Sabally, the 3-time All-Star they signed from Phoenix this offseason, also hasn't debuted yet because of a cyst. Rebecca Allen, Leonie Fibich, and Raquel Carrera are all out too. The Liberty are doing this with 6 players unavailable, and they still controlled that game from start to finish before a miracle ending snatched it away. Championship teams respond to losses like that. That's the DNA of this franchise, and you're seeing a team with Stewart and Jones at the core that knows how to process a tough result and come back sharper the very next time out. DeMarco is in his first year coaching this squad, and he already holds a wild distinction as the first coach in WNBA history to open his head coaching career with 3 consecutive games scoring at least 50 points in the first half. This team moves the ball, they generate open looks, and they have the interior presence to dominate the glass. They out-rebounded Portland 31-26 on Tuesday, including 8 offensive boards, and they dished out 23 assists as a group. Now contrast all of that with where the Fire are as a franchise. Portland is an expansion team in the truest sense, assembled in about 5 weeks through the expansion draft, free agency, and the college draft after labor negotiations compressed their entire roster-building timeline. GM Vanja Chernovic did remarkable work putting this group together so quickly under coach Alex Sarama, but there's a ceiling to what you can expect from a team that's played 2 games together in their entire existence. They lost their opener to Chicago 98-83. The Liberty game was a massive emotional high, the kind of moment that can paper over the reality of where a young team sits. Carlton going off for a career-high 26 points with 5 threes was incredible, and Carla Light adding 21 points with 6 assists showed she's going to be a real factor in this league. But Portland also allowed 96 points to a short-handed Liberty team and needed a once-in-a-season miracle to win by 2. When you factor in the emotional hangover from a game like that, where the crowd was going berserk and streamers rained down on the court, the Fire are walking into Thursday's game running on adrenaline fumes. Meanwhile, the Liberty spent Tuesday night processing what went wrong and had a full day off to prepare for the same opponent they just studied film on. Championship pedigree matters in spots like this. Honestly, the Liberty won it all in 2024, and they're loaded even without their biggest names. Expansion teams pull off upsets, they grab headlines, but they rarely back it up in the immediate rematch when the favorite has 48 hours to adjust. Portland is also dealing with their own injury concerns, with Carly Samuelson ruled out due to a left foot injury and Sug Sutton listed as questionable with a right knee issue heading into Tuesday, which could thin their rotation even further for Thursday. The 14 lead changes and 8 ties from Game 1 tell you this was competitive, sure, but New York held advantages in field goal percentage, rebounding, assists, and first-half scoring. They controlled the game and got by a miracle. That doesn't happen twice in 48 hours. As our first pick for this matchup, the New York Liberty to cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When 2 teams combine for 194 points the first time they play each other, you have to sit up and pay attention to what that tells you about the pace and style of this series. Tuesday night's game between the Liberty and the Fire was a track meet. 28 combined three-pointers, 14 lead changes, 8 ties, and both teams shooting 50% or better from the floor. The Liberty alone went 13 for 28 from beyond the arc, which is a 46% clip from deep that would make any NBA team jealous. Portland connected on 15 of 33 from three-point range, which is 45%. Both teams were cooking, and neither defense could find a way to slow the other down for any extended stretch. New York is averaging 100 points per game through 3 contests, which ranks second in the entire WNBA. They scored 96 against Connecticut in the opener, 98 in overtime against Washington, and 96 again in Portland. This team gets buckets, period. Chris DeMarco's system emphasizes ball movement, and the Liberty have piled up 68 assists through just 3 games, which leads the league. When a team passes like that, they generate quality shots, and quality shots lead to points on the board. Portland's side of this equation is just as telling, maybe even more so. The Fire are averaging 90.5 points per game on offense, but they're also giving up 97 points per game on defense, which ranks near the bottom of the league. Their opponents are shooting 50.4% from the floor against them, which is dead last among all 15 WNBA teams. When you play defense like that against a Liberty offense that just put up 96 on you without Ionescu or Sabally, you're going to see a lot of scoring. And here's the thing, the Fire aren't going to roll over offensively either. Carlton proved on Tuesday that she can carry a scoring load when the moment calls for it, and Light is a creative playmaker who finished the expansion draft as one of the most coveted picks for a reason. She averaged 21 points with 6 assists in that Liberty game. Louisa Geiselsutter and Camia Smalls each put up 13 in the first meeting. Portland scored 83 in a loss to Chicago and 98 against the Liberty, so their offense is trending upward as their players build chemistry game by game. Coach Sarama's group plays with pace and confidence at the Moda Center, where the energy from the crowd fuels transition opportunities and aggressive shot selection. Speaking of the Moda Center, there's something worth mentioning about playing in a building where 19,335 fans showed up for the home opener, and the atmosphere has been electric from tip to buzzer every single night. That crowd doesn't sit quietly during runs. They push their team to keep attacking, keep shooting, keep playing fast, and that kind of environment creates offense on both sides of the ball. Visiting teams speed up to match the energy too. You saw it on Tuesday. 14 lead changes meant neither team was content to slow down and play in the half court for long stretches. They were pushing the ball, running in transition, and firing up threes at a pace you don't see from teams trying to grind it out. When you add it all up, you've got a Liberty team that can't stop scoring, a Fire team that plays fast and struggles to get stops, and a building that turns every possession into an event. The first meeting between these two teams hit 194 combined points, and even if you expect some regression, which is fair, the shooting profiles, the pace, the defensive struggles from Portland, and the Liberty's elite offensive system all point toward a night where both teams put the ball in the basket at a high rate. The Liberty are 3 for 3 on scoring 96 or more points in games this season. Portland has given up 83 and 96 in their 2 outings, both climbing. Neither of these teams is built to play in the 70s. They're built to run, shoot, and entertain, and the Moda Center crowd is going to make sure the tempo stays right there. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.